Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 6 Part 11 based on novel. So let's start. Lin Dong's forward-moving body gradually came to a stop. Finally, he landed on the top of an enormous tree. His gaze was focused on an extremely familiar figure in front of him. The two of them came from the same empire, the same clan, and possessed the same surname. Similarly, they had the qualification of a genius. However, the relationship between them were like fire and water, neither could tolerate the other's existence. This kind of relationship had perhaps existed since Lin Langen seriously injured Lin Dong's father back then. After various subsequent events, their relationship had reached a point where it was impossible to reconcile. Lin Dong clearly understood that Lin Langen was his biggest source of trouble. It was impossible for the latter's hatred towards him to be reduced. If this fellow was to gain the slightest opportunity, Lin Dong knew that Lin Langen would definitely attack without hesitation. Similarly, Lin Dong would not hold back if he possessed such an opportunity. Looking at it from a certain point of view, the character of the both of them were somewhat similar. White clouds flowed in the azure sky. The two figures were standing at the top of two trees. They looked at each other across the distance while a chillness surfaced within their eyes. Even the air showed signs of solidifying. Little Flame stood behind Lin Dong. His large hand slowly rubbed on the metal rod that emitted an icy coldness. His body had leaned forward a little and there was a vague fierce explosive aura being gathered under both of his eyes. Having followed Lin Dong for so many years, Little Flame was clearly aware of the grudge between Lin Dong and Lin Langen. He was aware of the threat Lin Langen posed towards Lin Dong. This kind of enemy that was a threat to Lin Dong must be eliminated. Lin Dong, we meet again. A gentle breeze blew past. An extremely chilly smile was formed on Lin Langen's handsome face as he slowly spoke. Are you finally willing to come out after hiding for so long? Lin Dong laughed softly. You should know how I am. If I do not have the confidence, I will not easily reveal myself. However, since I dare to reveal myself now, perhaps the one who will be in danger is you. Lin Langen laughed. It seemed as though he had recovered the kind of confidence and haughtiness that he had when Lin Dong met him for the first time. It seemed that during this period that he was missing, he had similarly gained quite a fortunate and lucky encounter. I will not give you a second chance to flee. Lin Dong lowered his eyes slightly and spoke in a faint voice. I will not make the same mistake as I did back then a second time. The person that the Lin clan had never seen before would still be me. Once I defeat you and join a super sect in the future, all I will need to do is to say a word and the Lin family from the Yang city which you are protecting will completely collapse. Lin Langen smiled in a dense manner. You won't have the chance. Lin Dong stretched his lazy waist and continued, let's stop saying these nonsensical words. I also really wish to see how much you have improved after missing for such a long time. I share the same thought. The denseness on Lin Langen's face became even greater. Immediately, he took a sudden step forward. Immediately, powerful Yuan power whizzed past in a dominating fashion. That strength had actually reached the level of a 1 Yuan Nirvana stage expert. I know that you have defeated Shakuran of the Devil Cliff Empire. However, coincidentally, a short while ago, there was a 2 Yuan Nirvana stage expert who also fled after being seriously injured by me. Bright golden glow suddenly spread out from Lin Langen's body. His body flashed and a punch struck onto the air in front of him. Incomparably sharp wind directly covered Lin Dong within it. Lin Dong extended his hand. He clenched it and his majestic mental power was spat out. It formed a large mental power hand and bombarded that sharp wind. This level is far from sufficient. Lin Langen did not reveal any surprise after his attack was blocked. He had also heard the rumors about Lin Dong during this period of time. Naturally, he understood that the current Lin Dong was already much stronger than he was back then. If he did not possess any special techniques, it was likely extremely difficult to defeat Lin Dong. In that case, I shall let you taste what is called a true martial arts. A cold smile surfaced on Lin Langen's face. Immediately, his eyes were focused as majestic yuan power swept out. Immediately, the natural energy began to show signs of boiling. Moreover, the yuan power that spread out from within Lin Langen's body seemed to be vaguely mixed with a kind of special feeling. Soul martial arts? Lin Dong raised his head and looked at the sky, which was becoming dimmer. A surprise also flashed across his eyes. It was unexpected that Lin Langen actually possessed such good fortune. Lin Dong, only I, Lin Langen, can be considered a child favored by the heavens. I am not someone whom you can compare with. Lin Langen's feet stepped onto the empty air. The sky behind him dimmed and there seemed to be an enormous illusionary figure vaguely appearing behind him. The illusionary figure stomped his foot onto the ground and a kind of special ripple spread. It was as though the figure was a martial ancestor that shook the world. Martial ancestor rotating heaven skill. A low cry was suddenly emitted from Lin Langen's mouth. That enormous illusionary behind him seemed to have extended his enormous arms across the sky. Immediately, the natural yuan power exploded. Die? The vast and mighty sky seemed to have shrunk in the face of that huge pair of hands. Finally, it actually transformed into a light curtain that shrunk and expanded in an inconsistent manner. An extremely powerful ripple spread apart in an uncontrolled manner. The light curtain was held by the enormous illusionary hand. After which, his palm blasted apart the air and ruthlessly smashed towards Lin Dong. Bang bang. The sea of forest below was actually blasted into powder in the face of this pressure. Even the ground had been shaken until it split. At this moment, quite a number of people were rushing over towards this place due to the appearance of the 4 great mysterious sects' remains. The great commotion here had basically attracted the focus of numerous eyes. It is actually a soul martial arts? Who is this great being? The person seems like he is attacking Lin Dong. This person really don't know how to live peacefully no matter where he goes. Exclamations immediately sounded when these gazes saw that large illusionary figure behind Lin Langen. Due to Lin Langen's disappearance, no one found him familiar. However, Lin Dong was a newcomer in the northwestern region whose reputation was leaping extremely quickly. Quite a number of people found him to be familiar. This feeling, it seems to be the soul martial arts of the ground martial sect. A grave expression flashed across Lin Dong's eyes as he looked at the enormous illusionary figure behind Lin Langen. From the looks of it, it seemed that the inheritance of the ground martial sect, the strongest amongst the 5 great protector sects, was actually obtained by Lin Langen. Humph! Lin Dong let out a deep breath. He did not slide the attack. A martial arts on the level of the soul martial arts was too powerful. Even he had to be careful when facing it. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Surging yuan power suddenly whizzed out from within Lin Dong's body at this instant. After which, it transformed into 5 enormous yuan power-like pillars, which in turn became 5 ancient large fingers. Great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger, merge. Lin Dong's hand grabbed forward and the 5 ancient large fingers immediately merged in a lightning-like fashion. That illusionary space immediately blasted apart. A blurry figure that seemed to dominate the world once again appeared from within the darkness. That Lin Dong actually possessed a soul martial arts as well. When the illusionary figure appeared within the empty space, the expressions of those experts who had thrown their gazes over immediately changed once again. All of them were filled with shock. Great desolate imprisoning heavenly hand. Surging yuan power gushed out from Lin Dong's body in a somewhat crazy and uncontrolled manner. His hand suddenly grabbed forward. At the same time, that illusionary figure also slowly extended his hand. That illusionary-like hand seemed to be a little real at this moment. Crack! The empty space seemed to have cracked apart, forming a cracked line, when the illusionary hand grabbed forward. That ancient large hand that was merged from the great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger directly penetrated through the space and charged towards that enormous illusionary figure behind Lin Langen with lightning-like speed. The attacks of both parties appeared to be even faster than lightning. Even Lin Dong and Lin Langen themselves could only see a ray of light flashing past their eyes. In the next instant, the 2 martial arts attacks that caused the hearts of countless of people to be filled with palpitation collided together like meteorites. Boom! The world seemed to have trembled when the collision occurred. Frightening energy wind immediately spread apart. A mountain peak below was directly covered by this wind. It immediately collapsed and large rocks flew. Roar! A low and deep roar was emitted from Lin Langen's mouth. His face was a little flush red as the yuan power within his body surged out crazily. Even that enormous large figure behind him also seemed to be emitting a sharp domineering roar. Lin Dong immediately felt a great pressure when Lin Langen's martial arts soul was emitting a roar. He quickly inhaled a deep breath of air as his eyes swiftly turned icy cold. His hand was suddenly clenched. Break! The word break resounded over the place. However, it was not emitted from Lin Dong's mouth. Instead, it was emitted from the illusionary figure in the sky. That voice was actually emitted from the martial arts soul of the great desolate imprisoning heavenly hand. Bang! This voice was ethereal and ancient. However, it contained a kind of extremely terrifying pressure. Even the enormous illusionary figure behind Lin Langen seemed to tremble a little. After which, it gradually faded in front of Lin Langen's tightly shrunk eyes before finally vanishing completely. This martial arts soul of his was actually shattered by Lin Dong's martial arts soul. The soul martial arts was similarly divided into low, middle and high grade. The most obvious manner to differentiate the strength between these three grades was to see just how strong the martial arts soul was. From a certain point of view, the stronger the strength of the person who created this martial arts, the stronger the might of the soul martial arts. Of course, this was not absolute. The different soul martial arts that are created by the same expert would also possess a difference in strength. This difference originated from the spirit that was bestowed. Some of the martial arts which they thought of as important would likely be bestowed with quite a dense spirituality. If it was randomly created by them, the spirituality would likely be a little weaker. Clearly, this great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger which Lin Dong had obtained was not something that was randomly created by that legendary great desolated emperor. The strength of the great desolated emperor back then was likely much stronger compared to the sect leader of the ground martial sect, who was the martial arts soul that Lin Langen had summoned. Otherwise, it would be difficult to gain such an advantage when the two martial arts soul collided. Boom! Powerful, wild and violent energy wind swept through the sky. The numerous surrounding gazes carried some shock as they looked at the enormous illusionary figure crumbling behind Lin Langen. This kind of collision between soul martial arts was not something that they could witness often. The martial arts soul that the fellow summoned using his soul martial arts should be the sect leader of the ground martial sect. People calls him the martial ancestor. His strength could cause the world to crumble. It is unexpected that even such a soul martial arts was unable to block Lin Dong's attack. The soul martial arts that Lin Dong had displayed is not simple. I wonder just which powerful person had created it. It is actually this strong. Numerous private conversations that were filled with surprise spread throughout the sky. Clearly, the amazement that was created by this scene was quite a great one. It actually shattered my soul martial arts. A dark solemnness flashed across Lin Langen's expression in front of the shocked gazes all over the sky. He was naturally familiar with Lin Dong's great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger. Back then, he had similarly obtained a martial arts from manifestation tablet back then. However, he did not expect that Lin Dong's great desolate imprisoning heavenly finger was actually just the initial stage of this complete martial arts. With the increase in Lin Dong's strength and his familiarity with this martial arts, the might of this martial arts was truly unleashed by him. This fellow is not so simple. I sensed some dangerous ripple within his body. Lin Langen's expression was gloomy when a hoarse voice suddenly sounded within his heart. Grumble. Lin Langen's eyes shrunk slightly. He did not doubt this yuan spirit within his body. He was able to obtain such an achievement mostly because of the existence of this yuan spirit. He also understood just how powerful this yuan spirit was. It was unexpected that Lin Dong was actually able to cause this spirit to feel a sense of danger. Is it due to the demon spirit within his body? Lin Langen inquired. I am unable to sense the fluctuation from that demonic spirit any longer and don't know about its situation. Even though you have currently obtained the inheritance of the Ground Martial sect, it is extremely difficult for you to kill Lin Dong. That Yuan spirit voiced his opinion. Lin Langen immediately clenched both of his hands tightly when he heard this. A refusal to resign to the situation flashed across his eyes. Originally, he thought that after half a year of bitter training and unique encounters, he could be considered as a top-tier person even in the northwestern region, and it shouldn't be too difficult for him to finish off Lin Dong. However, he did not expect that Lin Dong's improvement actually did not lose out to him. Don't bother about him. Currently, obtaining the inheritance of the Four Great Mysterious Sect is the most important thing. The Ground Martial Sect is considered the strongest of the 5 Great Protector Sects. However, it is still much weaker compared to the Four Great Mysterious Sect. If you are able to obtain one of the inheritance within it, you will definitely be able to suppress Lin Dong. At that time, he will definitely be unable to escape from your hands. Lin Langen knitted his brows. His eyes were dark and cold as he looked at Lin Dong, who was standing as straight as a spear. Finally, he could only clench his teeth unwillingly. He turned around and withdrew without saying any unnecessary words. Currently, the most important thing to do was indeed to obtain the inheritance. As for Lin Dong, the gap between the two would be pulled apart after he obtained the inheritance. At that time, even if Lin Dong possessed the powerful soul martial arts from the manifestation tablet, Lin Dong would definitely have difficulty contending against him. Do you intend to beat a temporarily retreat? Lin Dong's eyes narrowed as he looked at Lin Langen's figure. The surrounding yuan power fluctuation had also gradually calmed down. He knew that Lin Langen wanted to head for the remains of the Four Great Mysterious Sect. That place was also where Lin Dong was intending to go. I said before that I will not give you a second chance to flee. Lin Dong softly muttered to himself. He had already made up his mind. Lin Langen must be finished off in this ancient treasure trove. This thorn had existed for too long and Lin Langen must not be allowed to keep becoming stronger. However, he knew that he must obtain the inheritance of the Four Great Martial Sect before resolving this issue. He also understood the importance of the inheritance. If Lin Langen, who had already obtained the inheritance of the Ground Martial Sect, was to obtain it, it was likely that this person would completely surpass him. At that time, given Lin Langen's character, he would definitely not show any mercy towards him. Little flame, let's go. Lin Dong waved his hand. He ignored the many stunned gazes in the sky around him. His body moved and swiftly rushed towards the deep regions of the ancient treasure trove, where space was fluctuating. After the two of them left, the many experts who were observing the battle from around the place finally recovered. Their eyes were filled with a fiery hot greed as they looked towards the deep regions. They did not utter any nonsense as their figures rushed forward. Immediately, many ear-piercing sound of wind being split apart resounded over this place. Everyone knew that after experiencing numerous danger, they were about to reach the center area of this ancient treasure trove. The treasure at that place was sufficient to change their trajectory within this ancient battlefield. The space within this ancient treasure trove was undoubtedly much more solid compared to the other places. Those cracked lines that covered the space in the outside did not appear in this place. The air contained an ancient taste. The silence of this remains, which had been sealed for countless number of years, was finally broken at this moment. Lin Dong and Little Flame rushed through the sky. Their eyes looked all around them and they could see many figures darting towards a similar direction. The aura of these people were quite strong. Of course, not a single person who could arrive at this place relied only on their luck. The space there. Lin Dong's eyes suddenly focused while he maintained his fast flying speed. After which, he saw that the space not far in front of him had actually become extremely distorted. There was an incomparably wild violent spatial ripple vaguely spreading from it. There seemed to be an ancient large square located in that distorted space. Its grand and mighty aura could still cause Lin Dong and the others to be shaken despite it being blocked by the distorted space. Is that place the remains of the Four Great Mysterious Sect? Lin Dong looked at the ancient square. Both of his eyes revealed a heated expression. He had finally arrived. After Lin Dong approached the place, he discovered that there were already quite a number of figures suspended around the distorted space. A couple of familiar figures was also amongst them. Liu Bai's group was at the northern position. They had also clearly discovered the arrival of Lin Dong and Little Flame. Immediately Liu Bai revealed a profound-looking smile on his face. It was likely that he had heard of the many events Lin Dong had encountered while making his way here. There were 3 figures located a short distance from Liu Bai's group. Lin Dong had already seen one of them. He was the fierce wolf Tianjin, who had fought with him over the samsara pill. A strong man with a body size that did not lose to Little Flame was standing a short distance away. The back of this strong man was carrying a huge black-colored axe. An extremely wild and fierce sharp aura vaguely surged out from within his body, causing quite a number of gazes to be involuntarily thrown towards him. Not far towards Tianjin's right was a skinny-looking man. This man was wearing a beast robe. His appearance was ordinary, but the dense sharp glint that would occasionally flash across both of his eyes allowed one to understand that he was not a kind person. Moreover, the ripple that was seeping out from within his body was not weaker than Tianjin and that man carrying an axe. The 2 other overlords of the northwestern region, Lin Dong's eyes glanced over these 2 people. Clearly, there should not be anyone else other than Liu Bai, Tianjin, and the other 2 overlords who possessed this aura. While Lin Dong's gaze was glancing at these 2, the gazes of Tianjin and the 2 others were also thrown over. Tianjin's eyes were dark and vicious while the eyes of the other 2 also revealed some caution. However, they did not reveal any haughtiness or disdain, which was a rare phenomenon. Someone who could cause Tianjin to suffer a loss was not someone whom they could underestimate. Lin Dong's sight leaped over these 2 and saw Lin Langen, who had just exchanged blows with him. The latter's icy cold eyes looked at him before withdrawing it with a cold smile. "Seems like you have quite a number of enemies." A voice suddenly sounded beside Lin Dong while Lin Langen was smilingly coldly at the former. Lin Dong raised his eyebrows. He turned around to take a look. The person who had arrived was wearing a black robe. He was actually Yang Sen, whom Lin Dong had met when he had just entered the ancient treasure trove. "You have defeated Shakuan and should have obtained his ancient secret key, right?" Yang Sen's somewhat pale white face looked at Lin Dong from under the black robes and asked. Lin Dong narrowed his eyes. He remained non-committal. Currently, he was no longer the same person as he was when he had just entered the ancient treasure trove. At that time, he might be extremely afraid of Yang Senator now. Lin Dong was not afraid even if he had to cross blows with Yang Sen. "In that case, you are in possession of 2 ancient secret key." "Ha, how interesting. It looks like you will have quite a great amount of trouble later. I wonder if you have the ability to endure through it." Yang Sen laughed faintly as he uttered some inexplicable words. After which, he did not stay. His body moved and rushed forward. "Ancient secret key, for great mysterious sect." Lin Dong frowned slightly as he muttered to himself. He seemed to have vaguely understood something. Yang Sen's figure transformed into a black shadow and directly charged into the distorted space. Waves after waves of mighty Yuan power erupted at that instant and actually forcefully scattered the wild and violent spatial ripple. "Pluto Hand Yang Senator, I never expected that even this person has actually came to this northwestern region to enter the ancient secret trove." Liu Bai looked at the figure that was the first to rush forward and spoke with a soft laughter. "This fellow is a little troublesome." Standing beside Liu Bai, Mu Hongling looked at Yang Sen's back with her peach blossom eyes and said, "Ha, most people who can reach this place are troublesome." Liu Bai laughed. "However, the real shocker is how fast that other guy has improved. When I met him for the first time, any random Nirvana stage expert can reduce him into a miserable state. However, I never expected that within a few short months he is actually already able to fight with the 4 overlords of the northwestern region." Mu Hongling suddenly turned her pretty eyes before she glanced at Lin Dong a short distance away. Lin Dong is not a simple person. It is likely that he will be an incredible dark horse in the 100 Empire War half a year later. Liu Bai slowly said. "Oh." Mu Hongling lifted her pretty eyebrows. She spoke in a non-committal manner. "Although I do not doubt his growth potential, It is not as though you do not know what kind of terrifying characters will appear in the 100 Empire War. Those abnormal individuals from the super empires had firmly held onto the top position since the 100 Empire War started. It is quite a difficult thing for an ordinary person to shake them, even if one obtains some inheritance and have some lucky encounter. Although it is difficult, something like that has occurred before. Who knows, maybe an exception will appear again this time around. I think that it might be very interesting when that time comes. The dignity of your super empires have not been challenged for many years. Liu Bai laughed. Hopefully. Mu Hongling stretched her waist and her curves were exposed. Her pretty eyes had gathered onto the figure in the distance for some unknown reason. It was extremely difficult to challenging a super empire. Could this fellow really do it? We should leave. Once we barge through this distorted space, we should be able to reach the remains of the 4 great mysterious sects. Liu Bai waved his hand. After which, his figure moved, he took charge and rushed forward and directly shot into the distorted space. Mu Hongling and the others closely followed behind him. Seeing that Yang Sen, Liu Bai, and the others have moved, those crowds that were eyeing the 4 great mysterious sects' remains were finally unable to endure any longer. Numerous figures rushed out. Finally, they jumped into the distorted space. However, many people seemed to have underestimated the wild and violent spatial strength that existed in this distorted space. Therefore, when these people charge in one after another, some unlucky fellows was struck by the spatial crack line. Finally, a muffled boom sound was emitted and they were torn apart, forming a rain of blood. A bloody scent spread apart. The suddenly bloody scent also immediately stirred a panic. Some people had finally understood that this distorted space surrounding the 4 great mysterious sect remains was not as simple as they had imagined. Lin Dong looked at the blood fog that was drifting over from the distorted space. He knitted his brows slightly. These fellows had really been tempted by the 4 great mysterious sect remains until they had lost their minds. Let's go. This kind of matter. Lin Dong did not have the strength nor intention to be bothered about it. He nodded towards Little Flame. Immediately, they both of them rushed out at the same time and shot straight into the distorted space. After the 2 of them charged into the distorted space, they were able to sense the incomparably wild and violent spatial strength around. Numerous spatial crack lines would occasionally spread apart, appearing just like the sharpest blade. Should one accidentally touch it, even their nirvana golden body would be directly torn apart. Vast and might Yuan power covered Lin Dong and Little Flame. At the same time, Lin Dong's mental energy also swept apart. Each time a spatial crack line appeared in the surrounding space, Lin Dong would be the first to sense it and lead Little Flame to dodge it. Although this kind of distorted space was dangerous, an expert of Lin Dong level would not easily end up facing a fatal danger as long as he was careful. Hence, with this success and speed, the remains of the 4 great mysterious sects hidden deep within the distorted space also began to gradually appear within the sight of Lin Dong's group. That place seemed to be an extremely ancient and enormous field. Nothing on the field appeared to be particularly special. However, the majestic aura that it emitted caused one to feel a little breathless. That is. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed as he looked at the middle of the field. After which, he discovered that there was actually 4 tightly shut ancient bronze doors quietly standing at that spot, appearing as though they had lasted forever, since the ancient times. Some of the more powerful experts had already passed through the distorted space and landed on the large ancient field. Lin Dong and Little Flame also followed closely behind. They slowly landed on this large field. After which, they swept their gazes around. This ancient field looked as though it was completely casted from a large rock and there was not the slightest crack line on it. The field was as smooth as a mirror, as though it had been randomly carved by someone. Is this the remains of the 4 great mysterious sects? Those figures who had landed in this field carried a pair of fiery hot eyes as they slowly swept over this place. Deep within their eyes was a surging greedy expression. After experiencing so many obstacles, they had finally reached the remains of the 4 great mysterious sects. The ancient field did not have any overly unique things. The only special objects were the 4 ancient bronze doors. Hence, after many gazes swept once around, all of them gathered on these doors. From the looks of it, it appeared as though these 4 bronze doors were the key to the inheritance of the 4 great mysterious sects. Numerous gazes flowed over the bronze doors. A moment later, a person was finally unable to endure any longer. He stepped forward. After which, wild Yuan power surged as he unleashed a powerful martial art. His fist smashed onto a bronze door. A low and deep sound spread over the field as a circular ripple spread apart. It directly scattered the dust that had been lying on this field for countless number of years. However, just after that ripple spread, the expression of the expert who had unleashed this attack immediately paled. After which, he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. His body directly shot backwards in front of numerous stunned eyes. It finally shot out of the field and was sent into the distorted space. His waist was split into 2 by a spatial stream that was spreading apart. Immediately, a sharp screech sounded. This scene immediately caused the experts on the field to become quiet. Some of those who were originally planning on attacking together and blasting apart these bronze doors immediately stopped with faces covered in cold sweat. It seemed that these bronze doors cannot be broken with brute force. The inheritance of the 4 great mysterious sects should be behind these 4 large bronze doors. Lin Dong's gaze swept over those bronze doors. An expression of deep thought flashed across his eyes. In other words, it meant that he must open the large bronze doors in order to obtain the inheritance. Everyone on the field engaged in private conversations. They seemed to be discussing about how to break the door. Liu Bai's group, on the other hand, was staring at these large bronze doors with strange expressions. Their eyes did not contain the doubt and loss like those of the others. "Everyone, do you really wish to know how to open these large bronze doors?" A voice suddenly spoke faintly while everyone was at a loss. Immediately, all the eyes turned towards him. Lin Dong's gaze also looked over. His eyes were slightly cold. This was because the person who had spoke was Lin Langen. It is not possible to use brute force to break these large bronze doors. This is because one must have a key in order to open them. Lin Langen placed both of his hands behind him. His gaze carried some dark chillness as it was slowly thrown towards Lin Dong a short distance away. The keys to open them are the 4 ancient secret keys. Uproar. Lin Langen's words immediately stirred a commotion on this field. After which, numerous gazes instantly became filled with a heated greed as they paused on Lin Dong. Everyone present clearly knew that Lin Dong possessed an ancient secret key. Ha ha, this fellow likely possessed more than one ancient secret key in his hands. He had defeated Shakuan and it is likely that the ancient secret key in the latter's hands should now be with him. Lin Langen smiled densely. After which, his eyes looked towards Liu Bai, Tianzhen and the other 2 individuals amongst the 4 great overlords. He said, "Let's join hands and snatch the ancient secret keys from him. What do you say?" Tianzhen's expression immediately turned dark and dense when he heard this. He immediately stared at Lin Dong with malicious intent. The smile on his face was a little ferocious. "Ancient secret key." Liu Bai smiled faintly. He clenched his hand and an ancient key appeared on it. He lazily said, "We have coincidentally met the prehistoric empire along the way and took their ancient secret key in passing. Looks like I don't need it either." The black-robed Yang Sen glanced at Lin Dong. After which, he extended his long hand. There was actually also an ancient secret key on his fingers. Clearly, this should be the one that belonged to the Death Valley Empire. It seemed that these fellows had also guessed something. Therefore, they took action and snatched the ancient secret key after the ancient treasure trove was opened. Those like the Devil Cliff Empire and the Prehistoric Empire had completely wasted their effort to bitterly search for the ancient secret key. Lin Langen's eyes were a little dark and cold as he glanced at Liu Bai and Yang Senator. It is unexpected that these 2 fellows had actually done something like this. He, Lin Dong, you have offended quite a number of people. I have already said that you will regret it sooner or later. Tianzhen had a shady face as he slowly stepped forward. After which, his eyes stared at Lin Dong with some hostility. He extended his hand over the ancient secret key. The man with an axe behind him and the beast rogue man also carried some chilling aura as they slowly stepped forward from behind Tianjin. Finally, they stood beside Tianjin. Their eyes stared at Lin Dong in an indifferent manner. It seemed that they also wanted the ancient secret key in Lin Dong's hands. Lin Dong, you should obediently hand them over if you do not wish to die here. A chilly expression surfaced on Lin Langen's face. He softly said, no matter what tactics you have, you will definitely die in the face of this lineup. This video will end here.